And the take Cameroon government say, two things we go ever end Amba. Me no man not tell you, not dialogue, no fit end Ambazonian terrorism. When I look at myself now, I believe in Kunkum. I believe in military strategy. Me, Okana Serik Clovis, I believe in the military strategy and disarmament. Any other strategy, my dear brother, na fake. Na mafia for put money in their pocket. Yes, na mafia. They will take our own government say, now for pump in money for the military, more equipment, more allowances, increase their salary. Yes, because see, at the top say for see, I'm a Cameroonian and I believe my platform will cry. See, if I look what the way Cameroon military pass through, I swear to God, for a daily base, for bring peace for the country. I tell you, for come out for here going bandi, what the work I go do feed wrong bandi. Now 4 days for trek, 4 days day and night, not be biscuit. Oh, can I go for that road? Mountain they go for that road. For carry an operation for now. See, if you see one Amba dead body for ground, not be biscuit. There is stay very far. You need for trek for more than 7 to 10 hours. Forget to play with Amba body day now. Not be biscuit. So when you see mission don't carry out, if you tell the return, sometimes they go for that, but you not succeed, they come back. You never ever know how many times Cameroon military go for mission. When you not ever succeed, they come back. But then they knock 3 days for bush, 4 days for bush. No ever succeed. So I want use the opportunity for tell Cameroon government, Minister of Defense, for tell say, Papa, you have a president say the military are doing their best. Those boys are sacrificing. I don't know how much they pay them, I don't care, but to me, they deserve an increment of allowances because they are suffering. Those guys that they work, they deserve everything. For me, they're supposed to be one of the paid people them inside country. To me, yes, it's supposed to be like that. Because they are sacrificing. Are they on ground? Are they go grounds? They don't evidence. I tell you with evidence and fact. And they talk na empty mob. And then they make now. And then she don't have for office. And then she don't have some motor. They make video. No. I don't get office. They tell you out of reality and the fact. So no be choice. No be choice. So kudos. Kudos for all Cameroon military. Kudos for all Mamia Papa the way they are picking their military. Kudos for all women the way they marry military people. Because it's not easy to marry the military man. That way you need their house by no day. Not be biscuit. They are doing their best.
Hello, I'm Charles Gitonga and here is what's coming up for you on this edition of Focus on Africa. From rebel to teacher, the story of a former separatist fighter promoting peace in Cameroon.
I was sleeping with her in one of the small rooms. Out of a sudden, at about 5 a.m. in the morning, we got gunshot being fired everywhere. I couldn't check on my wife. All I could do was to save my own life.
For a year and a half, Atiasong Belt Tajwa fought with the Red Dragons, a separatist militia in Cameroon's conflict-ridden southwest. He joined the movement in 2017 at the age of 23 after local fighters came to his village and offered him a chance to turn his frustrations with the government into action. Like many in the English-speaking parts of Cameroon, he says he felt marginalized by the government dominated by the French-speaking population. Those tensions, beginning with peaceful protests organized by lawyers and teachers, turned deadly following a government crackdown. As a rebel, Tajwa lived under plastic sheets in the rain, cooked for the leaders, and carried out attacks on military and civilian targets. I've been speaking to him and began by asking him when and why did he decide to join the group.
I cannot say the exact date since it's been several years, but I know it was right at the beginning of the Anglophone conflict. On that day, the Red Dragons, led by Field Marshal Oliver Lekiaka, stormed the neighborhood and promised almost every young person that was there, to include myself, that we were to fight government forces and to better our living conditions. One of the highest things that made me accepted their request was the fact that we greatly suffered from the defense and security forces, most especially those at checkpoints on the way, since I used to be a rider and a part-time teacher too from 2014 to 2016.
So how old were you, and did you at the time have an understanding of what it is the Red Dragons did?
By then, I just left the university. I'd spent just a single year in the university after my advanced level. I really understood that fighting against a state had consequences, but I didn't know the modus operandi of the Serb revolution would become what it is today.
Right. Were there other people that you found in the militia group that were of similar age to yours?
Yeah, there were people of the similar age. There were others who were quite younger.
How young are we talking?
We had people who were not even up to 15. Someone like Ajwa Jeremiah, who was the second to die in BLM, was not up to 15.
So when you joined the militia, what were you thinking? Because obviously you've changed your mind today.
That's very true. At the moment, my intention was to fight against the state authorities to make things better for myself and for other Anglophones.
Talk to us about what you did as a member of the Red Dragons and the kind of assignments that you are asked to execute.
One of my prime functions there, since I had been a rider, I used to transport the fighters to and fro. I also participated in cooking and in many other activities that, due to the fact that things are so fresh in people's mind, will not only be better exposing certain things, but I want to believe I participated in most activities in 2018 because I later abandoned the so-called crisis in March 2019.
Were you sent out on some missions, perhaps?
Of course, one of the key things is, you can't just join a group as a new person and you are given an AK-47 to manipulate. First of all, up to date, I didn't know there was a gun called the AK-47 until I saw you with gendarmes on the way. We in the BLM do not have military camps where we could even know how to operate a gun. I had to spend some time with them. I had to be taught on how to operate an automatic rifle and the rest. One of the most things I regret, which I participated in, was the burning of Bangang that I can't refuse. I was part of those who did it under Ayeke.
And how did you feel carrying out those things?
Back then, it didn't trouble me. But from the very second I started reflecting, when I discovered the mode of operation had changed. In fact, my life has never been the same. I live in agony. I keep reflecting, most especially when I watch certain videos. They play over me.
Right.
That is why at times I don't even love talking about it, because it plays over my psychology.
And so today you are a teacher. Tell us about the day you left the militia and what changed your mind.
Nothing changed. Rather, I discovered that the mode of operation had changed to something else. There was a lot of infighting between the Red Dragons and the guerrillas of our law, which were once the same camp under Oliver the Kirka, aka Fimasha. Later on, his second in command, known as Ayeke, created his own camp named the Guerrillas of our law. There was a lot of infighting. Many were killed. And the main thing that provoked me to surrender was the fact that I lost my own biological child during a military raid in our camp.
Are you able to give us more details on what happened on the day of the raid?
I remember when the military attacked my wife-to-be, because I wasn't officially married by then, was there with us in the camp. I was sleeping with her in one of the small rooms. Out of a sudden, at about 5 a.m. in the morning, we got gunshot being fired everywhere. I couldn't check on my wife. All I could do was to save my own life. I escaped, then later on discovered my wife too had escaped. We came back to discover that my 11-year-old child was dead. I cannot explain what happened because I didn't stand to see it.
So you decide to leave the Red Dragons. Was it simple to actually just disengage from the group?
It could never be a simple decision. First of all, I was going to join who I had long considered an enemy. Previously, the military was my enemy. So it took me a lot of time. I had to grow pay. I pondered upon everything, and later on told my wife I prefer to go die rather than dying here, since I had carried several corpses. Most of my mates were already dead. I knew if I do not surrender, the next thing is I would die. It's better I go and die out so that others will know, rather than saying I remain in the bush under the rain and die as a terrorist.
And
yes,
when you surrendered, what happened after that?
So I was the first person in Libya to officially surrender and go to the DDR center. It wasn't easy. I was kept incommunicado for some days in Menji Fontem, but due to the intervention of the divisional officer for Fontem, who is today the divisional officer for Batsibo in Momo division, I was taken up to Alo subdivision, which is at the boundary with the West region, then later on sent to Boya at the DDR center. When I got to the DDR center, things were different. Things were not the way I thought. I wasn't beaten, but I was locked up and my phones taken by the military authorities who were there for some days. My family even thought I was dead.
So from that point onwards, how did you get back to teaching again?
I was taken up to Aloha, and from Aloha I was sent to the DDR center in Boya. I spent about 1 year, 6 months there. While there, I was trained as a driver, but the unfortunate thing with the trainings at the DDR was the fact that no license was given. So I kept explaining to the authorities that no, I think I need to go hustle for my life. I have children, I have a wife living somewhere. They took good care of me, but there was no one to take care of my own family. So through the coordinator for Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Center knew me well. He gave me that permission. I left, went back to the West region, returned to university. I spent 5 years in July 2024. I was already 5 years in the university. From then, I decided to embark on my part-time teaching. I decided to return into the classroom, where today I am a part-time logic teacher.
Could you tell us about this DDR process and center that you're talking about and what they do, if you could help our listeners understand that?
The DDR stands for National Center for Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration. Is a commission created in Cameroon, I think, at the end of the major national dialogue, which harbors former separatist fighters and former Boko Haram fighters. The first stage there is for you, first of all, to accept the fact that what you were doing is wrong. Hand over your weapon to state authorities. You get there, then you start the demobilization process. You are being de-radicalized, you are taught, you are being trained on certain professions. If you don't want to be trained, you are not forced into such trainings. Then the last section is being reintegrated into the society. When those responsible for the DDR finally discover that your mentality is no longer the same, you are now qualified to return into the society, you are being reintegrated.
Tell me if your pupils and their parents and also your colleagues know about your past and what they say about it.
Some of them know about my past. Most of my colleagues know about my past, since I am peace advocate on the social media. I don't care what they think. I won't say exactly their mind because I don't know. It doesn't trouble me because I do not live in the past. I'm a new person. What matters is what I do at the moment and not what I did.
And finally, what message do you try to install in the pupils and in the students that you teach in terms of promoting peace?
I always tell them guns will never resolve any problem. Guns are never the solution. I think the error I did out of ignorance should not be committed by the same students I teach. As a teacher, it is my obligation to let them know that only pens can solve a solution.
Atiasong Belts Tajwa. Focus on Africa was put together by Sunita Nahar, Stefania Okereke, Yvette Twagira Maria, and Bella Hassan in London. Carney Sharp was the senior journalist in charge, and Philip Bull was the technical producer. Andre Lombard and Alice Mudengi are our editors. I'm Charles Gitonga. We'll speak again soon.
So time when they bring the issue for vote for plebiscite, the UN, they ask Jongu Foncha for inside UN, say why they no get no option for independence. Now Jongu Foncha, he talk for UN, so we not be capable for be on our own. Now, why do we want to join our brother them for La Republique? Now, answer that way, John Guffonch again for United Nations. Then ask yourself how difficult it will be for we to go convince the same United Nations, say, na La Republique can capture we and all those things that we'll be talking for now. When I ask yourself, for 1961, when John Guffonch he meet up Amadou Ahidjo for 1st October, the 1st October way after Fumban conference, where that did the union he get into effect. I'm going to read una quote for John Guffonch, me una hear, because I write them down, make a no mistake quote. It talks say, federation was a temporal arrangement that we would dissolve. Listen, now John Guffonch the tear Amadou Ahidjo say federation they so na just on nothing for the short time. Later on they go dissolve am. So we gonna hear to where they come up for our own leader then, and he go humble una for we for take the right decision. So I'm gonna read the remaining part of the code. It says, we will not insist on federation forever. It is simply a way to integrate our people gradually into a larger nation. So now Amadou Ahidjo that they talk, now John Guffonch that they talk for Amadou Ahidjo about integration of our people then. So we're gonna know so we don't win team way reverse history already for this trouble. The fact say Cameroon then decide to recognize say integration it don't fail. As much as we blame them for which we don't suffer through this integration, we need to acknowledge and take responsibility, say our own side be responsible. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to make the type of concession because people that refuse say they don't begin believe our own propaganda. Say like probably we can't catch we, then take police, then can't catch we, they just come manufacture. Say no, what hand be did it? For 1962, John Guffonch talk when Southern Cameroonian they began meeting. They complain about they say Cameroon they over encroach into our affair them. It talks say we must stop complaining and work together and stop looking backward. 1962, John Guffonch and I quote that. And then St. Muna, Tande Muna, when I be the first prime minister after unification. Now a statement this time where Amadou Ahidjo want change constitution for 1972. Muna says federalism is unnecessary. We must all be part of a strong nation, a stronger one nation. This is a quote from St. Muna. So, make a humble way. Make we know so we don't win some big things, say Cameroon that acknowledge our unique nature. Now, a success that for this our military campaign, we will radicalize our youth. We will not get anything further than this through the arms. The arms don't backfire because we don't get a lot of clowns them. People they need a reason, they need to do research, they not be committed, they not be hardworking. Scammer them, canker worm them, all kind of people them, murderer them like Lucas Asu, Mumu Lucas Asu. People then like shake have where then talk say they fit give their woman me a yabacho sleep with them. Now they don't nurture the decay for ground zero. Where they keep people then so they need to care. Are we not tired of seeing the reality? Do you want canker worms and demons like Ayabacho and Lucas? If those people could have taken over our country, they will kill all of you. If Ayabacho was the president of Southern Cameroon, you'll be dead. What Pobia is doing to us is not up to 1/4 what Mumu Lucas can do. Now, these are murderers. I mean, they are cold-blooded, pathological liars, murderers. They don't have no honor, no dignity, no pride. They are killers. Go in Gozang and see what happened, what they did there. Do you think that was a joke? Do you know how many people they have murdered like that? We need to go back for root. We need to look into the truth. Because this truth is the key to resolving this crisis. When we realize the truth, it will humble we and put us in a position to feel Midland Republic halfway before Pobia can die. I want me to know, say na me, Capo Daniel, I be the master for our propaganda. Na me, I be the master for our propaganda. When I hear that saying where you come and say United Nations Secretary General, Tanwe de Boangi Southern Cameroon for La Republique du Cameroon, he be talk say he did like bolo bolo where they don't press them underwater one day he could come out. That thing me be make up. Almost all Southern Cameroon activists that don't share them, people that don't believe them. Why I will do all those things? But we need to do the right thing and end this madness. The war now the key now our own people them. This year alone, 18 people the way they don't die for ground zero. Now only one way Cameroon military kill up. And that one step where the Cameroon military kill up, now as the resources they want exchange fire for retaliate for action with Ambazonian fighter they don't do. How many houses they don't born in this year? Now how many born by La Republic? Now how many born by our own forces them? So nothing they make like picking them over people their life. Who get the responsibility. No man no go give you anything. So man is just, but if La Republic we can't give in a federal, no, they no go give we because we already stand up so we be na people they know.